So let's do one, guys. Let's do one together. Give you a little bit of time. I believe you can see my screen. And here is our problem. We still have our old slide. Actually, I saved it. And here's the problem I would give you. And I want somebody to try it. Factorize completely. That's what the text will say. So give yourself good 2-3 minutes. And if somebody wants to, by the way, guys, you guys can always, let me share with you something. You can always write on my screen too. Let me see if I can show you how. On the top of your screen, I have to grab it. I can't show you if it's Zoom, it doesn't show you, but let me see. There was a trick I used yesterday. So that's the problem we are working on, okay? Well, if you go on top, if you click annotate, you're gonna see some stuff and a little strip will appear on top. You have to click annotate. Where is annotate? It's where you see about the meeting, okay? Right next to pause. I can't show you because it doesn't show because it's a part of Zoom, okay? If you click annotate, you're gonna see a little strip. That strip has a draw, D-R-A-W. It's the fourth icon from left. And you can just write on my screen. If you choose to, of course, if you can't do that, you can always tell me what you did. And if I don't understand you, I will ask you for further clarification. Somebody's trying to share. Don't be shy. Wouldn't mind hearing from you guys.
Do you want us to give an answer?
Could you, if anybody wants to walk us through, that's preferred. But if you want to give an answer, that's fine too. I'll listen.
I'm gonna let somebody else answer this.
Okay. Anybody wants to try, guys? How he or she did it? I'll give you a little bit of time to organize your notes. Anyone? Okay, let me try it, guys. Instead of,
Here, I'll give
you
it
want to
to
go,
you.
Jack? You want to go?
Sure.
That'll be,
All right, so
go ahead. I'm listening.
yeah, the first thing I did is I broke apart the 16x to the 4
How did you?
into 4x squared. All right.
Is that what you did?
And then, yep, and then it's -1 squared.
Very good.
And then you can then factor those into their separate parentheses.
I'm going to write the plus first because I know I'm done with it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to write it like this. And
then with that, with the 4x squared -1, I then broke it into 2x. Yep. And then that's -1.
Very good. Can I say 1 square?
Yeah, you can say
Not
1
that
square.
it matters. If as long as you're doing it correctly, you're fine. I mean, if you see 1 as 1.
Well, I no, then I wrote it as like, I wrote 2x -1 and then 2x plus 1. Like I fully factored it out.
Good. Good.
That's
Very
my
good.
final answer.
And that's correct. Yeah. Let me write it down for everyone. Good. Very good. And the rest of you try to practice, guys. It's your time. It's your money. That's my old line. Might as well learn something, right? Okay. So again, the order doesn't matter. This is not quite good. It's not gonna cut it. This is good. Thank you, Jack, for sharing. Who else wants to ask a question?
No problem.
You got, okay, good. Wonderful, guys. Let me do a couple. These are, the next section is easy. I don't even have to do them, but I'll do 1 or 2, then I'll leave the class for your question. Now they're saying it's a perfect square. Okay, what's a perfect square, guys? Let me do one and I'll tell you what a perfect square is. Okay, instead of talking about it, when I show you, you would say, oh, don't worry about perfect square. Okay, just try to factorize it. And once our answer will be a perfect square, I'm going to say, you know what? This is called a perfect square. And I know you guys know what a perfect square is. Okay, so I'm going to factorize it for now. Okay, so there is a 1 here. 4 times 1 is 4. Okay, and I can play with 4 and 1. Well, let me see. 4 times 1. Yeah, okay, that's not going to cut it. Okay, I want this 4. So 4, I'm going to put it here. Not going to cut it. 4 as 2 times 2 is my friend. Why? Because 2 plus 2 is 4. So you multiply the coefficient of this first term and the constant term and see if you can split it to get this middle term by adding or subtracting. So I'm going to go with this stuff, green stuff. Same old, oops, I'm sorry. Same old deal. Okay, so I'm going to write it as follows. X squared plus 4. Instead of 4x, I'm going to write 2x plus 2x plus 4. And let's put a line here. And then I'm going to factor out x, nothing new. We have done it today and before the break. And I'm left with x plus 2. At this time, I can factor out a positive 2. This time, I'm going to factor out a positive 2. And what am I left with? X plus 2. Now, I am not surprised, guys. I have 2 factors that are identical. Okay, sorry. I have 2 factors that are identical. That's what I was expecting because, of course, you can leave your answer like that. Anybody will give you credit. But what they really want you to do is they want you to do it like this. Perfect square. So it's a perfect square. 4 is a perfect square because 4 is 2 times 2 or 2 squared. Okay, 9 is a perfect square because 9 is 3 times 3 or 3 squared. 100 is a perfect square because 10 squared is 100. So they're just saying, they're giving you a little hint. It's not really a hint. If you get a perfect square, then you kind of know you're probably right. But it has to be the right perfect square, right? You can write x plus 3 squared. So I would say I got it right. Again, if they tell you this and ask you to use the let's see what language they use. I think they're saying something like this, perfect square. So you want to factor each perfect square trinomial. So they're saying these are perfect squares and you got a perfect square. So you're good to go. So I don't have anything else to do. If you want me to do something from here, I'll do it. They're very, well, I can do a big 156 if you want me to. Let's do one. Let's do one. And then I won't do anything new and I'll take your questions. Okay. Let's do one. Now, before I let go of this slide, I'm going to give you a 1 or 2 minutes to kind of absorb it or process it. All right, let's try one more. And you guys, those of you who want to interact with me, you can always interact. You say, I can do it. Totally fine. Okay, or help me out. Let me stick this guy here. I won't be able to move it. Yeah, good. So guys, 64 times 1 is 64. Okay, now 64 can be written as 1 times 64. Okay, 32 times 2. All right, but my friend is going to be 8 times 8. Why? Because 8 and 8 can be added to give you negative 16. Of course, it's negative, so it'll be negative 8 times negative 8, but don't worry about that too much. That's how I'm going to choose this. All right, 64 is the product of the coefficient of the highest power, x squared, and the constant. 64 times 1 is 64. So 64 can be split in many ways. 32 times 2, 1 times 64. But 8 times 8 is a good one because 8 plus 8 gives me 16. So I'm going to say 64 x squared minus 8x minus 8x plus 1. Again, double check, negative 8x is negative 16x, so you're good. From the first two terms, I'm going to factor out 8x. And I'm going to be left with 8x minus 1. From the next two terms, there's nothing common, okay? I'm going to factor out negative 1. And I'm going to be left with 8x minus 1. And that's a good sign. Why? Well, this guy matches this guy. That's not bad. Now I'm going to factor out the green factor, 8x minus 1. And again, I see a sign of hope that I am correct because I'm left with 8x minus 1 times 8x minus 1. I know it's a perfect square, and I should write it like this. That concludes our P4. I won't do anything new, but I will let you ask questions and whatever you want me to ask, whatever you want to ask me, well, I won't ask you. I will ask you things tomorrow. I can go to the BlazeView site and answer some of those questions where things are in blah, 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 things I've already addressed, but this is what this time is for. That's enough. Those of you are going to watch this lesson, I'll record because they might ask me to do something. So I'll record, but I'm not going to do anything new. Once again, so the syllabus, let me go to the course, guys. I know some of you are getting ready to talk and good for you. Let me go to the course. It'll take me a couple of minutes, okay, because I'm home and it doesn't.
So you said that we'll have no more things to cover.
Correct. And I'm
We're
going to.
not doing P6 for the
We're
exam.
not doing P6, and I'm going to go. I think you can see my screen.
Yeah, it says still planning for the study guide part, like the notification put on BlazeView. It said to be determined, or
I am going to, exactly, that's where I'm going, Jack. I'm going to go there and I'm going to cut it. I'm going to delete it in front of you. Okay. Give me 1 second. I'm going to enter my password, and I know passwords don't show up, but I don't want people to get distracted. Not you, not our friends, but since we are recording things, okay? So I'm going to go to the page, Blaze View page. I'm going to pull it out. I'm going to go over what I will cover, all those things. All right, now you should be able to see my screen. I hope so. Okay, so here is our course. And here is our syllabus. And let me double check one more thing. So yeah, it does say to be decided. So we have made the decision. This is gone. And I did compress some of these problems, but you guys will tell me, well, yeah, you did compress, but really you kept the hard ones, and that's true. I pulled off some of the, actually, guys, we have a few more. That's okay. That's okay. We didn't do
So those problems are for this? I thought they were for the homeworks.
Yeah, I'll stop at 56 if that's what you're saying. Let's do it like this.
Oh, no. I was asking, we do these problems on those. I thought we did them on the homeworks.
When you say homework, do you mean MATLAB or you mean?
Yeah, the math lab. Are those the questions from math lab?
Okay, yes and no. So these questions, so let me go over it once again. These questions here, the ones that I work on from your text are here. Okay, P5, I gave you 65 through 84. This is easy, and since I said I will stop, I intended to do some more from here. They're not difficult, try it. And if you want to do it after class, most of you won't have any trouble. It's really the same thing. But on the exam, tomorrow's exam, I will stop at 56 as promised. Okay, I don't want to confuse you guys too much. So I'll stop at 56, no problem. Again, these are things I will do in class so that we will be on the same page, so to speak, and actually literally. If I grab problems from MATLAB, they will change. You can go back and refer to it. So I do things from the book. Now, when I select the MATLAB problems, I select problems very similar to this. Occasionally, I will select a problem that says, what's this, what's that, something that I think you should know. But most of the time, they're really parallel to this set. And if you're comfortable with these problems here for our exam, you will be in good shape. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Yeah. So these are the problems you want to focus on, and they are from your text. And it does say that work on the following problems from the text. If you do the MATLAB, you're going to be working on the same problems as well.
Okay, so you said the My Math Lab ones will be seen on the exam though, like the same types of problems. Okay,
That's
cool.
true.
So
go ahead. I'm listening.
So we can just, devote our time to both.
Right. And look,
But
the
in
way
terms of ones that we should be focusing on, which one should it be the one that we should focus on more?
Okay. I will look at this document, the one you're looking at, which is really problems from your book. I'm going to just change the numbers. That's all I'm going to do. I'm going to use the same language. So if you look at these, the reason I like the book a little better, it's more tangible, so to speak. And if you tell your friends, okay, I did 56, I couldn't do 56, or you can come and tell me. So I will be looking at these. So why am I asking you to do the MATLAB? Well, they're the same problems. You can practice and get some feedback. Are you getting it right? That's why. So I would focus on the text, and I would also practice the MATLAB because that'll give you a little more comfort with the whole thing. And if you're messing up repeatedly, you're going to say, oh, I'm not ready. But they're really the same thing.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Sure. Any other questions from anyone? I will take care of the exam today. It's really here. You can't see, maybe you can. I'm not quite sure. Let me see. Do you guys, can you guys see the exam? No, you can't see the exam. Let me, so don't worry too much. It'll say exam 1. It'll say exam 1. It'll take me, I have a class after this class. It'll take me probably by 2 or 3, you will see it. Let me see.
I have a question.
I'm listening.
Can you go over like the part in 3 where it's like a lot of square roots, because I'm messing up there.
That's okay. Tell me once again which section. I missed your first word.
Section 3.
Okay. P3. Let's open it. P3. You pick the problem you want me to do.
Going too fast.
Sorry. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. I can always go back. Okay.
Can you scroll down a bit more?
Okay, yeah, I can. I'm going to check the number. So I basically assigned you 51 through 54. If I'm, well, on the exam, 51 through 54, but let's focus on it, 45 through 54. Yeah, I'll do anything from this group, okay, the shaded group, yeah. So let me see.
More like 49 and
Sure.
like 51 where there is some square roots, but not square roots in it.
Sure.
Then I get confused.
You want me to do 49 and 51?
If you can, yeah.
Of course, I don't have a problem. I don't think there's a long line of people who want me to do things, so I'll be happy to do both. Let me do this. Okay, don't forget the language. Rationalize the denominator. I'm going to get rid of this. Okay, so guys, remember we talked about conjugate. The conjugate of 3 plus square root of 11 is this. All right, if I had 3 minus 11 here, if this was minus, the conjugate would be plus. So just a little bit of a review here. So I can multiply the top and bottom of any fraction by the same number, and I choose to multiply it by the conjugate, and I'll tell you why. At 2 levels. The level 1 is when we say rationalize the denominator, that simply means don't have any radical signs in the denominator. It's just a custom, okay? And they want us to do it, and we'll do it. So I'm going to write this. And I'm going to multiply it by the conjugate again. And I'm going to multiply. You can't just arbitrarily multiply the bottom by a number. You have to multiply the top as well. I'm going to put 13 here. Don't forget the 13. It's not a B, it's a 13. Okay. Now, the bottom part is really something we talked about today. So remember, if you FOIL 3 plus 11, 3 minus, what we saw today, guys, a plus b times a minus b is a squared minus b squared, remember? So that we scratched the surface back then. We did a little extra work today. So when you do, you can do FOIL. This times this is 9.
Wait, I got a question.
Sure.
So let's say we multiply the 11 square root by the other 11 square root. Would that just cancel out the square root?
That's correct. You're going to get 11. Yeah. Square root of 11 times square root of 11 is 11 all by itself. And that's exactly what we're going to do.
Would it be negative 11 though?
We're going to tell you, Jack. So I am going to say in the middle, this will be 3 square root of, just FOIL it the way you would and see what you get. I'm going to also tell you a shortcut. Okay, when you multiply positive square root of 11 by negative square root of 11, yes, you're going to get, oh, I need a little extra room. Yes, you're going to get negative square root of 11. And let's just square it. I'm running out of room, but that's not the, well, I mean, that's probably one reason, but it doesn't matter. So this will go away. The middle terms will always go away. 3 square is 9. And don't forget the minus, square root of 11, and this square, you can probably barely see it. There's a square here. Okay, I can do better. Okay, So square and square root, they cancel. The answer is negative 9 minus 11. Yes, there's a minus, and that turns out to be negative 4. So the bottom mess converts to negative 4. The top, you can't do a whole lot about it, okay? There's not much to do. Now, in your book, some people also don't like the negative sign in the bottom. They're going to take this negative, multiply both top. I'll accept this, okay? This is a perfectly legitimate, acceptable answer. Some books, I don't know what your book is doing. I don't remember exactly. Some book will say multiply both top and bottom by negative 1. Negative 1.
Wait, so that 13 with the 3 minus neg to square root 11, that's good right there.
I would accept it. I know why you're asking this. Okay. Some people will tell you, no, you have to multiply. Go ahead, do it. And I'll tell you 13 times 3 is 39.
Yeah. So
Minus,
like, would you accept that one too?
I will. There's nothing wrong with this. Over minus 4. Okay. So that's also acceptable. Some of you will do it and I will hand grade it. Okay. And then somebody will say, no, we don't like minus sign here. They're going to multiply top and bottom by minus, and it's going to turn out to be this. When you multiply this by negative, this becomes positive and 39 becomes negative. That's all. And I'm making a big mess here. Over 4. I will accept this as long as the bottom does not have a radical sign and everything else is mathematically correct. I'll give you points. Does that answer your question? Who was asking me the question? Who asked me the original question, guys? Could you say your name?
Oh, I asked the original question. It's Anna Marie.
Anna Marie. Does that make any sense?
Yes.
Good. I'll be happy to do the next one. But again, everybody else, if you want me to say, I don't get what you did there, I'm going to give you guys a couple of minutes to process it. My green stuff here is foiling, okay? And just a little bit of while you're processing it, remember we learned this today. And here, when you do the foil, you're going to see the right-hand side, the conjugate, remember? And you're going to go from here to here. Today, we went from, I'm talking about the blue stuff on the bottom right corner. Today, when we did our P5, we went from left to right. And in this section, which happens to be P3, we kind of are going from right to left. But if you don't remember this, you can, of course, do the basic work. All right. Any other questions on this problem? I'm going to do the next one I was asked to do by Anna Marie, and hopefully other people will benefit from it. And then I can take more questions. All right. So I think, did you say 51, the next one? Let's do 51. I'm going to move on. Okay. My goal is to first write the conjugate somewhere. I'm going to write it here because I need the room. Conjugate is simply this plus 2. Okay. So I'm going to multiply everything, or both top and bottom, by the conjugate of the bottom denominator. Okay, very carefully, I'm going to say, hey, look, the bottom is simply a minus b times a plus b. And I know very well, excuse me, I know very well that let's do it here. This better be a square minus b square. Okay, that's easy. A square is square root of 5 squared. B squared minus B squared. So don't forget. And if you FOIL, you're going to get the same thing. Not a big deal. On the top, you can write it like this. Nobody cares really. If you want to. All right. So square root of 5 squared is simply 5. And 2 squared is 4. On top, I still have what I had before. I really don't have much to do. And the bottom becomes 1, and that's nice. 5 minus 4 is 1. I can practically ignore it. Here we go. Here it is. I'll let you guys process this.
Could we do some problems from P1 and P2 just as refreshers?
Of course, not a problem. Anna Marie, does that make any sense to you?
Yeah, it does, because I was trying to solve the square roots and then put it in.
No,
And I
that's
was like,
okay.
that
Yeah,
doesn't
I
work.
just double check. I just want to make sure it makes sense. If it doesn't, you'll ask, and I'm not questioning it. And that's why we are here, right? I'm glad you asked me the question. Before I move on, I just wanted to make sure you're okay with what I did.
Yeah, I'm good.
Good. So Jack, could you tell me your numbers? Oh, here's the deal, guys. Well, I think we can do one here, but then we have to switch session. Not a big deal.
Well, I don't really have a specific number to work on. I was just talking about like a general problem. We could do
Sure.
those
Not a problem.
sections.
Not a problem. I'll have to find.
I just want like 1 or 2 problems from each of them to just refresh my mind.
P1
That's
or P2? Which one? Which one did you ask for?
both.
Okay. Okay, we can do something. And you can even pick the problem. This is P1.
We could do an intersection and a union.
Okay, am I? All right. I'll grab both of them.
Could we do 32? Oh, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that works.
No,
too.
I'll do 32.
Yeah, we could do 32 and then 31.
Let's do 31 first.
Okay.
Okay, so guys, remember guys, union is like taking stuff from 2 bags, putting them together. All right, a couple of things. If something belongs to both bags, you don't write it twice. That's all. It's a very intuitive concept. Again, the best way to sort it out is write all the elements in the first set. You know you got the first set in. Okay, and don't stop. I mean, stop for a second. Then go look here. What's going on? 2 is not in the first set, should go here. 4 is not in the first set, should go here. 6 and 8 are not in the first set. They certainly belong here as well. And 10 is not in the first set. Basically, it happens to be the case that the 2 sets are disjoint. They don't have an intersection. Their intersection is empty. I listed them all. Do you have to write it in order? No. Do you have to include all the elements from the first set and all the elements from the second set? Yes. If you, and again, I'm talking to everybody. If you just write it like this, I will not be able to give you points because it's a very basic concept. And I know some people are like, got it all right. You have to write it properly. You have to write the braces. Okay. You just don't write the numbers. You have to write the braces. You have to write it properly. Again, the order doesn't matter, but everything should be included and the formatting has to be right. I don't have a whole lot to see. You're not turning in your scratch work, right? So I want to see what you guys are doing. And since it's an online class, at least if we can learn to follow the format, it's not necessarily a bad thing. So are we okay with it, Jack, the one we did?
Yes.
Awesome. Let's do the other one you asked. 32, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, did you want 32?
Yeah,
Same
yeah.
union. I can do it, but I wanted to do one intersection, but it's okay.
Oh wait, no, we could do an intersection just so we hit the different.
Yeah. Let's do it. This one is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think this one union 32 will be 0, 1, 3, 5, then 2, 4, 6, just like the previous one.
Yeah.
Let's do
Yeah.
an intersection. Let's do
So
one
we
with-
can do 23.
okay, we can do 23.
I just want to hit like simple reviews just for just a quick
Sure, that's what
refresher.
review is for. That's not a problem. All right, so guys, this set, they're trying to trick us. The first set contains the 3 letters S, E, and T. The second set contains the exact same 3 letters S, E, and T. So what's common? What's the intersection? Remember I said, when you're thinking about intersection of 2 roads, when you're at the intersection, you're at a square section that belongs to both roads. Same thing. So what's common to these two? I'm going to say S, E, and T. That's my answer. If you write it like this, would you be incorrect? No. Same. If you write it like this, would you be incorrect? No. Exact same thing. Now, here are the bad ones. You don't want to write it like this. You don't want to say SS. I will take off points. TT, EE, even if you put the braces. Just don't double them. They're the same elements. They happen to be in 2 sets. So that is, again, that's incorrect. I don't want to hear you did that. No, I didn't. I'm saying it so that you don't do it. These are all acceptable. Does that make sense? Everyone else and Jack?
Yep.
Good.
That's all good.
What else? What's the next one we want to do? You wanted to do something from P3? Well, you decide, whoever wants to decide. If you have a few more, Jack, I'll be happy to do it. Which ones?
Can we do P2 now?
Of course.
Well, actually, could we do like 60?
Sure, why not?
P1?
Sure. Okay, so again, when you have 2 vertical lines, don't let it bother you, right? 2 vertical lines, we're going to soon find out what they mean, and we've done one like this. It's basically, there's just like absolute value, kind of acts like princess, but has a specific meaning. So I'm going to work on this. What's the absolute? This is still here. Absolute value of -5 is +5.
Right.
And absolute value of -13 is +13. This minus comes from here. Now that's much cleaner. Now, remember when we have absolute value, we work on that first and pretend it's like princess. 5 minus 13 is negative. Let me do it carefully, 8. I haven't done anything with this guy. What's the absolute value of -8?
8.
+8. Thank you. Done. It's not as bad as you think. That's all. Again, this is not a new symbol. Okay, don't let that scare you. Do you want to look at P2?
Yeah, we can look at P2 now.
I'm going to scroll slowly. Here are the problems. Pause here a little bit. Oh, by the way, guys, again, it's going to kick us out any moment. Okay, I'm going to start with P2. I'm not going anywhere. So come back if you have questions or if you want to watch us, help your friends, come back.
Actually, could you grab 18? Then we can
I
just pick
will.
up with that one.
I will. You want me to do 18 when we come back? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Wonderful. P2 18. That's what we're going to work on. Let's get out of this session before it kicks us out abruptly. See you soon, guys.